compressor is used to compress the vapors into high pressure and temperature. This high temperature and high pressure vapors are passed through condenser. Condenser is used to liquefy the vapors by rejecting heat to the environment. And if this process is done by at constant pressure, and when the refrigerant leaves the condenser, it is in the liquid form and its temperature is dropped, and after leaving the condenser at stage 3, the refrigerant is completely in the liquid form, and then it is passed through expansion valve. When it is passed through expansion valve, its temperature is dropped, and due to the drop in temperature, the refrigerant boiling point is also dropped. So the liquid is partially converted into vapors and a cooling effect is produced. So at state 4, the refrigerant is a mixture of vapors and liquid. So then it is passed, this mixture is passed through a evaporator which is inside of a refrigerator or air conditioner. So when the refrigerant is evaporated, that means it is converted into vapors. It absorbs heat from the internal space. It absorbs heat and completely convert into vapor form. And then when the refrigerant is exiting from the evaporator, it is completely a vapor, and the compressor then take these vapors and then again it compresses it to high pressure and temperature. Then the whole cycle again is continued. Compression cycle is consists of 4 processes. The first process between 1 to 2 is isentropic compression. This process is uh, happening here in the compressor from 1 to 2. This process is isentropic compression. The second process is heat rejection, which is at constant pressure. This is at constant pressure. So this process is 2 to 3, which is heat rejection from the refrigerant to warm environment. The third process is throttling. Throttling process is the expansion process, and it is happening in this expansion valve 3 to 4. In this process, pressure of the refrigerant is reduced and cooling effect is produced. The fourth process is constant pressure heat absorption. Second diagram is showing the TS diagram, and we can see all 4 processes on this TS diagram. So this line from is showing the saturated vapor line, and this second line is showing us saturated liquid line. So when the cycle is started from point 1, at point 1 the vapor is fully saturated vapor. So at the entry point of the compressor, the vapors are fully saturated vapor, and when it compresses these vapors, it reaches at state 2. So process 1 to 2 is compression of refrigerant vapor. In this process, we are giving work input to the system in the form of electricity. Then from process 2 to 3 is heat rejection to the environment. And this process 2 to 3 is happening in condenser. Condenser is used to cool down the refrigerant by rejecting heat to the environment. So from point 2 to 3, when it reaches point 3, it is saturated liquid. Yeah. That means all the vapors are now converted into liquid form. Then process 3 to 4, this 3 to 4 process is in expansion valve. This process, in this process, pressure is dropped, and refrigerant is now a mixture of liquid and vapors. So in this vaporization process, heat is absorbed, and then 4 to 1 process is evaporation process, which is happening in the evaporator, and evaporator is located inside that space that needs to be cooled down. So there are some differences between the actual vapor compression cycle and the ideal vapor compression cycle. These differences are due to some irreversibilities. These irreversibilities are due to the losses. The losses, the reason for losses is number one is this is the first reason of losses, which is fluid friction. As we know, the fluid is when it is passed through a channel or pipe or tube, there is wall friction, and and, and the fluid is sticked to the wall, and there is zero velocity at the wall, and due to this wall friction, fluid is lost some of its pressure, which is in the form of pressure drop. Then the second loss is heat transfer the to the surroundings. Heat transfer to surrounding or from surrounding. This is the second form of loss. So these two losses causes irreversibilities in the vapor compression cycle. This is ideal vapor compression cycle, and this is actual vapor compression cycle. So I will now explain the differences between these two cycles. So this vapor compression cycle is started from compression process from state 1 to state 2. In the actual vapor compression cycle, in the compression process, the vapors are compressed from state 1 to 2 dash. Instead of reaching at 2, it is now reaching at state 2 dash. So the advantage, this is done by cooling the vapor during the compression process, and it is advantageous to cool down the vapors during compression process because it reduces the amount of work done in the compression process, as well as it also reduces the amount of heat that is required to be rejected in condenser. So you can see, if the vapor is reached at point 2, it needs a lot of heat to be rejected from condenser. So condensing process will be uh, more expensive, and we need a larger condenser to reject that amount of heat. But if a compressor reaches at point 2 dash, it requires less amount of heat to be rejected. So in the actual compression process, we need to cool down the vapors during compression process. This is our compression process. Then this is condensation process 2 to 4. In the ideal cycle, we uh, we end the condensation process at point 3, which is saturated liquid point. So in the actual practice, we cannot know uh, that vapors are fully converted into liquid. So there is no such thing. So we super subcool the vapors from point 4 to point 5. This point 4 to point 5 is subcooling of the vapors, that we want to ensure that this process is to ensure that all the vapors are now converted into liquid. So 4 to 5 is subcooling of vapors. Then process 5 to 6 is throttling process, in which the liquid refrigerant is passed through expansion valve, and in this expansion process the pressure is dropped. And then process 6 to 7 and then 7 to 8 is evaporation process. Sorry. 6 to 8 is evaporation process, in which the heat is absorbed. In this process, Q is absorbed, and in the ideal cycle, when the refrigerant is exiting from evaporator, it is fully vapor, but we cannot know that it is fully vapor. We have no information inside the evaporator that all the liquid refrigerant is converted into vapor form. So we slightly superheat the vapor. So it travels from this point to further in the superheated region. This is superheated region, and from this point, which is saturated vapor point, we are now superheating the vapor into superheated region. So process 8 to 1 is superheating of vapors. So this is done to ensure that all the liquid is converted into vapor form. So compressor cannot compress the liquid; it can only compress the vapors. So this superheating process is done to ensure that all the liquid is converted into vapors. So all these processes are uh, have some losses, and these losses actually are the main differences between the ideal and actual cycle, and the other differences between these ideal and actual cycle are subcooling of liquid and superheating of vapor form. Okay, thank you.